Well, hello and welcome to yet another Wednesday live stream doing sport differently. I'm Steve Pallas and I'm really pleased to be joined today by Lynda Madams, president of the Melbourne Frontrunners. Lynda, welcome.
Oh, good. Thanks, Steve. Good to be here.
We had a few scheduling issues and a few technical issues, so our apologies to our loyal viewers for being a couple of minutes late. But Melbourne Frontrunners, do you want to just give us a snapshot? What is the Melbourne Frontrunners?
What is the Melbourne Frontrunners? Okay, so Melbourne Frontrunners is part of a global sort of community of frontrunners. There was a group way back in the early 70s that was set up for running, to set up an LGBTI kind of space for runners. And so the Melbourne Frontrunners itself has been up and running for about 15 to 16 years, probably a little bit longer. I've been part of the club for almost 10 years. So we are, I think at the moment, one of the fourth largest recreational running group here in Melbourne, Victoria.
Wow.
And the only, as far as I know, LGBTI running group. Currently have around about 182 members. So we're a walking running group. So all ages, generally from 20 up. We meet 4 times a week, Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays out in Princess Park on a Sunday and Albert Park on a Sunday as well. And the tan on a Saturday morning and the tan on Wednesday evening when we're able to meet.
So is the club a running, do people join the club as a running as a running club or a social club and then they become runners, or which way attracts your members the most regularly?
I think there used to be a saying that we're a running group with a coffee addiction. You know, it's all about the coffee and the social side of things. I think that's a big draw card for a lot of people in our community. It's about connection, and you know, what better way to do it than over coffee generally. So you add a bit of running and walking into it as well, and you get a healthy coffee addiction. So I guess it's a combination of lots of things. Mostly. I think it started out more from an active side to build the community for that connection side. So, and then it's kind of have grown since then. So, yeah.
So what sort of, and I do like on the website, you say it's a social club with a running problem, and having an ultra marathon runner as a friend, I can very much equate to that philosophy. So 4 times a week. So as you say, you cater for those that are walking or even haven't even thought about walking or running, all the way through to competitive marathon running. You've got coaches, you've got trainers. So how do you structure your activities to cater for that incredibly diverse group of participants?
It's up until 3 years ago, we used to have the odd coach, not as an odd, but a coach come in occasionally to take some training sessions if we were aiming for a, say, like the Melbourne Marathon. But now, so the club has invested back into the club itself and have actually members who are trained up as coaches to facilitate coaching and training sessions. So we actually have now a training program, actually running one at the moment. We have training sessions on a Tuesday morning, also Wednesday evening, and on a Saturday morning as well. So I think having the different runs at the different times, at the different places, allows for people to, those who actually want to train for a particular event, we have training available to them. Those who just want to come along in Princess Park or Albert Park, you can do that as well. You can run or walk it. So I think it's just, we've been able to have the club set up so that it can cater for our mixed group of members, you know, those who actually do want to come along and improve their running, those who just are happy with their level of fitness, but just want to go along and, you know, do a lap with somebody, have a chat, because, you know, running with someone, it can make it go a lot quicker than you doing it on your own. Especially if you've have you run around the town at all, Steve?
Yeah, hundreds of times. I've had a failed career of trying to be a premier cricketer back 30 years ago. So running Albert Park Lake and running the Tan is something I know intimately well, and brings back very painful memories, to be honest.
So a lot of people have the biggest challenge is the Anderson Street Hill. And, once they've conquered that, they're pretty chuffed with themselves, so that's kind of their measure of I guess, their personal success. If they can run that without stopping, there's a nice little, fist pump at the end. What I was saying about that is this, that it's the success is individual. So we don't sort of, we try to have, various things available to try and meet the many needs or different needs of our club. And one of them is, like I say, training and the social side of things. But if you're running with somebody and before you know it, you're up that hill without even realising you've actually conquered it, to be honest. So I'm from New Zealand, and when people said to me, Anderson Street Hill, that's a real killer. I get to the top and I get to the back to where we start from. I said, what's that hill you were talking about? They said, the Anderson Street Hill. I thought, that's a little rise in New Zealand. We're talking hills, I guess.
Yeah. I always found the backside slow, steady gradient actually harder after coming down coming up the hills. So, But Anderson Street Hill. Now, for those that don't know Melbourne, it's it'd be a 500-metre uphill climb.
Yeah, close to it. Yep.
Metre. Significant. It's not a slow gradient. It's not insignificant. So, if I'm a new beginner to the club, and particularly if I'm not overly active when I'm looking to start to, get a bit more active, particularly I've been locked down in Melbourne. Does that create some challenges for people and some anxiety, or how do you overcome the barriers that people naturally put in self, or in my case, excuses for why they wouldn't be walking or running?
Yeah, it's a lot of people who I've heard stories initially, but I remember sort of coming. No one wants to hold anyone back, and so they don't want to be that person who's the slow runner or a slow walker or anything like that. And it's interesting because none of us in the group would hold that against anyone at all, But it's a personal thing. It really is. You just got to come along and see for yourself. It's like no one's going to say make you run up the hill, without stopping on your first go. And I think we've all been there. We've all had to start somewhere, So it's a lot of our members are so supportive of our newbies, whatever level of fitness. If you're just getting into it, we've got walkers, got fast walkers, and we usually try and buddy people up at the start so that you're not left running on your own. So, it's just come along and give it a go. That's all I say. It's scary, and I've listened to a lot of the sessions that you've run recently, and a lot of the things are. It's just getting out of that car, coming up to meet people. It's the hardest part. And I think sometimes when you're in that, you forget that as well. But every member that I can remember who I knew are always warmly welcomed, So, I'm part of the group for 10 years.
Yeah, and I think it's something that us experienced. When I say experienced, they're really comfortable and experienced walking in and out of clubs and sporting environments. We forget is that feeling that you're right. No one wants to be the person that slows others down or requires them to stop for a little bit of a break. And I've experienced that over the last couple of months myself, running with my ultra marathon running mate who's kind of making me run 5 kilometers 3 times a week. And, to slow him down, I've made him run 25 kilometers before we do our little sessions. So, I also kind of really get that feeling. So it's really important to overcome. How is the group recruiting its members? How do people join? You don't go from just a handful of mates, common interest or common theme, to be one of the largest running groups in Victoria and Australia. How are you recruiting and attracting new members?
Yeah, that's. I think it's just the general friendliness, and because we are LGBTI, like members out in our community are looking for connections. I think that's usually one of the first things that people are looking for. Is like, where do I belong? And how can I just go somewhere where I don't have to explain who I am? And so, coming along initially is scary, but I think our website says who we are. But also over the last few years, like, we've got our new our outfits and stuff. So we're appearing in big races. We're out in the tan, and people get to see us, and they get to see all of us. It's not just like the elite looking runner. We just, runners come in all shapes and sizes, runners and walkers. It's just, I guess for me, my personal experience, it's what keeps me in the club is that it's the people. We're more than runners and walkers. We're family. That's the only way I can express it. Really, it's that someone's looking out for you. If they haven't seen you at a run for a couple of weeks, more often than not, you get a text message or a message saying, how you going? Just a friendly one. Just, haven't seen you. Are you going okay? So that acknowledgement that you matter, you're important to us, especially in our community, is huge. And I think that's what keeps people coming back as well. That warm, friendly, openness, and safe environment.
Is it the members that are recruiting, even passively without consciously going out and recruiting as a recruiting drive per se, but constantly inviting people into the community, into the club, reassuring them about, Anderson Street Hill's not too far and Albert Park's not 5.4 kilometres, and really encouraging their community or their network outside of the club? Is that a driving force of recruitment as well?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if we sort of. Have you heard of Midsummer Festival? Like, it's something that usually happens. So we often have a stall there every year, which unfortunately won't be happening this January, but it's hopefully planned for April, May next year. So we set up we have a little stall there to sort of promote out what we do as a club as well. So that's probably one of our biggest advertising or promotion of our club. And I guess the biggest thing for us is just, it has been word of mouth. People have just shared their experience with others, and people have come along to give us a go, give us a try. Yeah. And
you are very visual and consistent. Same time, same place, same visual with your uniforms and that sort of thing. So people will, I'm sure, are watching and going, oh, should I, shouldn't I? And may take weeks or sometimes months to reach out. So that's...
Yeah. Well, a couple of stories that they had, like people joining us, they've turned up on a Saturday morning. We have a big turnout usually on a Saturday morning. Sometimes between, on summertime can be anywhere from 60 to 80 people on a Saturday morning on a summer's day. That's pretty big and pretty scary. So we've had a few people who kind of walked past and, kind of thought, maybe not today. But, they've got the courage from somewhere to come in and join the group. So, yeah, it's people have seen us, but the whole nerve thing, the whole getting out of the car, joining us is a big thing.
So one of the things that you're looking to overcome and overcome that barrier is, you were, just prior to COVID, the club was kind of looking to introduce a program, Walk to Run. Do you want to just give us a little bit of background about why you kind of thought about a program like that, and then what did it entail?
Yeah, so the idea was, I think for a lot of groups as well, there's this the gender equality is sort of like more men than there are women, and our club is no different in that respect as well. So one of the driving forces was to try and encourage more women to come along and give running a go, because it's a lot of people think it's about just putting a pair of shoes on, tying up, and heading out. But a lot of people get injured because they're not doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Pair of runners, I'll just get out there and, run 2 or 3 Ks, no problem. And, they get injured or think to themselves, that was too hard, I won't do that again. So the Walk to Run program was to try and just sort of encourage people to do it properly, do it right the first time. You start slowly. It's not about speed. It's about building your body to make it safe for running, because it's a high impact sport. There's a lot of weight going through your joints and stuff. So we wanted to do that slowly. So the whole idea was to try and do that with women in time for the Carmen Women's Fun Run. So which is just specifically for women. That was what we were trying to aim for. But we also recognised too that it's not just women who we would like to encourage to do the program. We'd like all people to give it a go. So that was the sort of concept around trying to set the program up. We were sort of looking at 4 days a week of training, 3 of those days with a coach, 2 to 3 of those days with a club coach, and 1 to 2 days self-directed training on their own. You've got to have sort of some accountability. You can you can do as much as you can, but and still supporting them while they're doing their own training. But it's kind of like you need to be able to sort of show your commitment to yourself as well. So yeah.
So I'm really keen to explore a couple of points that you just said there. But one of the points I'd really like to explore is why is, in this case, running so gender specifically male dominated? Like you just need runners. What has been the barriers that's, and I've just trivialized the whole concept just a little bit there, but
right.
Why do you think it is that it has been so heavily weighted towards male participants? And I love the fact that you're reacting to that, but why? What is it that's caused that?
To be honest, I'm not sure myself. I guess if you're a woman, and we've recognised this now in club, trying to figure out ways that we can make it. It's the whole thing. If you can't see it, how can you be it? Kind of thing. So sometimes Saturday, turn out on a Saturday, other people have different things on as well. So we're also trying to think about, is it just a Saturday, or is it maybe we need to head out west, smaller groups? The Saturday is generally our biggest group session take up. So I know we're not the only club that have that sort of gender imbalance, but for us, what we implemented also was we have a women-only training group on a Wednesday night at Princess Park. So we have around about 10 to 12 members who turn up on when we were doing the training Wednesday night to do our specific training, and that's been our big increase in terms of numbers for our club for women. So we're trying to sort of make it more specific for women. I guess we have different needs as well. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Like if you again, that whole thing about I'm not going to be fast enough, all the guys are too fast. So we've tried to look at just for women only on a Wednesday night, which has been quite successful. So yeah.
And I think probably one of the major causes, without knowing specifically about your club, but kind of learning from these series and the interviews, I think is confidence and people not really having the confidence to kind of get involved. And so going back and those couple of strategies, taking me from zero to, in my case, being on the couch for 15 years and then starting to slowly run with the guidance of a very knowledgeable runner who didn't allow me to go too hard too early, but then, as you know, it ramped it up as he thought. He was clearly wrong, but he thought I could handle it, and that was invaluable to me. And so that knowledge and that safety and that confidence and those women-only running groups allow those safe's probably the wrong word, but those environment of people with similar journeys, and I think that's a really, really great learning and building, taking people from zero to confident in their own ability that they can then join the more bigger group that's running regularly. Is that how you would see it?
Yeah, to a point. I think confidence is one of them for sure. But I guess it's for a lot of people though. It's can you see yourself in this group? Like who can you relate to? Do you know what I mean? Like if you are seeing a lot of fast runners only, then you're going to think that maybe this isn't for me. So I guess it's one of the key things we try to do in all of our sessions is, and I'm sure loads of clubs do this, but you've got to incorporate a bit of fun. You know, it's not I think I'm frozen, but you've got to incorporate that, have that fun aspect of it, that friendliness, and to make people feel more comfortable about being there. So yeah.
Well, and hence, and I think that comes through on everything that's in the discussions and in the website and on your website. You do say you're a social club with a running problem. So automatically the emphasis is on social connectiveness and on fun. And so that's really, really, really important. And again, another theme that's come out through the whole just doing sport differently. I'd just like to just get you to look forward a little bit, and we'll just ignore the fact that the camera is frozen a little bit, but it's still coming through loud and clear, which is fantastic. And I mean, you are and we are in lockdown Melbourne, and at some stage in the future that we will unlock, and one of the things that we will do is we will look to be a bit more active than we've been through lockdown. So how will does the club see that as an opportunity, as an advantage, or how will the club respond when lockdown is finally released, albeit probably slowly, in Victoria?
Oh God, I think we might be just a big gay parade down Spencer Street. We're just hanging out for it. I mean, so obviously we did trial it going back in smaller groups. You know, I think it was June, July. There's a small window where we were able to sort of get a group of up to 10. You know, that was quite exciting. So, you know, we were able to manage it that way in terms of, you know, making sure that we recorded everybody who was there and, you know, followed all the procedures and that kind of stuff. But so the plan is that we just wait and see what we've got to work with. And then, you know, the idea is to think about, you know, although our biggest group is on a Saturday morning, maybe we have smaller groups dotted around Melbourne on a Saturday morning. So yeah, it's kind of really hard to even think about what it's like.
We just don't know, do we?
Well, we've got so many things that we had planned. We wanted to do our Pride run in February. We don't know what that's going to look like. Yeah, so one of the things we're trying to do just a moment is we've got a nice little training program for our members. They're aiming for a virtual run at the end of November. So it's still trying to keep people together. And if there's some of these restrictions in the next few weeks, then maybe, you know, a group of 5 people can get out and do a short run together, and then look forward to sort of organising something for the virtual run we've got planned at the end of November.
So brilliant. So even through COVID and lockdown, just keeping that connection between your members, which is obviously the key to the success of your club.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of time on Zoom, like for the training sessions, like for this program that we've got, which is now 7 weeks working up towards a half marathon. We've got a yoga session on a Monday night. We've got a strength and conditioning session on a Wednesday morning and Wednesday night, as well as the running program. Like we've got a coach's choice that people sort of go out and run on a Tuesday. They log their runs on our Facebook page, and so it's people are enjoying that sort of extra challenge and still feel connected.
Yeah, I think that's the connected, fun, and every now and then a little bit of a run seems to be my sort of running club. So, Lynda, thank you so much for sharing your experience and the journey of your club. It's a wonderful journey. It's a wonderful club, and I must admit I have seen the singlets and the t-shirts running around the tan as I've driven past thinking I should be out there. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us today at Sports Community.
Steve, thanks so much. And even though I'm frozen up, I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. It's great. If anybody wants to get hold of us, just drop us a line on our webpage, and one of us will get back to your
Let me just put that back up there. So if you Google Melbourne Frontrunners and melbournefrontrunners.tidyhq.com will take you straight to the Melbourne Frontrunners webpage, which is a fantastic webpage. I must say, whoever does that for you, it does show the social, the fun, and a social club with a running problem. I think is a very apt description for the club. So. Lynda Madams, thank you so much for being part of our sports community.
Yeah, thanks very much, Steve.